Hello and welcome to the Policy Debate video series. I'm Dr. Josh Anderson, and I've been coaching for nearly 20 years. In that time, I've taught hundreds of students how to debate. Now, through the power of technology, I'd love the chance to help teach you as well. So let's get started. Today's video gives you a basic overview of policy debate, just enough to understand the event, but not enough to overwhelm you. Policy debate is one of many competitive speech and debate events offered at tournaments. The debate round is made up of two students on one team, called the affirmative, and two students on the other team, called the negative. During the debate round, the affirmative team will propose a policy and describe why it's a good idea, and the negative team will oppose the policy and describe why it's a bad idea. Both teams will use evidence and analysis to support their positions. Now, all students from across the nation who participate in policy debate will debate the same national topic. Having a national topic ensures that any debater from one high school can debate anyone from another high school, and both debaters have researched the same topic. The topic itself is called the resolution. The resolution for this year is Resolve the Status Quo. And that's just a $10 word for a $2 idea. The status quo is the way things are done right now. I told you earlier about the affirmative and negative teams. Now let's take a closer look at what each team is supposed to do in the debate round. The affirmative team affirms the resolution, which means that they agree that the government should. The affirmative team doesn't just get up and say they agree with the resolution. They must actually propose a policy change to the status quo, and the policy change must fall within the limits of a resolution. The job of the negative team is to negate the resolution and or negate the proposed affirmative policy change. To negate means to disagree with or oppose. So the negative team would argue that the affirmative policy change is a bad idea. So what does a debate round actually look like? Well, as you can guess, each team takes turns presenting their ideas and responding to the ideas presented by the opposing team. The affirmative team gets to go first, and in their first speech, the affirmative team will try to prove two things. First, that the status quo is harmful. Second, that their proposed policy is advantageous. The negative team gives the next speech, and their job is to prove that the proposed policy would be worse than the status quo. The debate round continues with each team alternating speeches to prove their point and disprove their opponent's points. Policy debate also features cross-examinations, which is why we sometimes call policy debate cross-ex debate. A cross-examination allows a member of the opposing team to ask questions of the person who just gave a speech, and the person being cross-examined is not allowed to ask questions. They can only answer the questions they are being asked. By the end of the debate round, each of the four debaters will have given a constructive, a rebuttal, and a cross-examination. The constructive speech, which occurs in the first half of the debate round, allows the debater to build or construct his or her argument. The cross-examinations, which occur between constructives, give debaters a chance to ask clarifying questions. And the rebuttals, which occur in the last part of the debate, allow each debater to summarize his or her ideas and make closing arguments. So, who wins? Well, as you know, policy debate is a competitive activity, and this means that every round has a winning team and a losing team. So who decides? An adult in the back of the room listens to both teams, takes notes, and determines a winner. This person is called the judge. The judge also provides a written or oral ballot in which he or she gives the reasons for his or her decision and feedback on what each member of the team did right and what they could do next time. Some debate judges have lots of experience, which gives both teams the flexibility to have a very technical, intense debate round, sort of like lawyers arguing a case in front of a judge who understands the law very well. Other debate judges have little or no experience, which gives both teams the flexibility to have a persuasive, slower round, much like lawyers arguing a case in front of members of a jury who aren't expected to know the laws at all. Both types of judges give debaters the chance to demonstrate a variety of skills and abilities. And of course, in order to prove anything to the judge, you need evidence. Evidence gives credibility and weightiness to your arguments. Without evidence, the judge just sees teenagers making arguments, with no claims, warrants, or ground. With evidence, the judge sees debaters proving their points with published research that provides statistics, examples, analysis, and reasoning. If you want to prove that the government uses drones, for example, you might need to read a short paragraph from a newspaper article that was published a few months ago. You'll tell the judge where the evidence came from, when and where it was published, the credentials of the author who wrote the article, and what the author of the article said. Just imagine the huge difference between you saying that drones violate the Constitution versus reading evidence from a legal scholar who says that drones violate the Constitution. If it's just you saying it, there's no proof that you're right. If you provide evidence from a credible source, then you have proven your claim, and it's up to the opposing team to either discredit your source or provide better evidence. Now here's a bit of good news. In the world of debate, debaters are expected to use evidence to support nearly everything they say. As a result, this means arriving at the tournament with thousands of pieces of evidence. And that means a lot of research. Luckily, the debate community has done an outstanding job of collectively researching, organizing, and writing arguments with evidence on the current topic and providing those research files online for free. Of course, you'll spend a lot of time doing your own research, but you'll also want to look at the free evidence online to supplement your work. This can save you a lot of time. There's one last thing I haven't told you yet. Policy debate is also switch-side debate, which means that you alternate between affirmative and negative between rounds. In the first round of the tournament, you might be negative against debaters from one school, and in the second round, you might be affirmative against debaters from a completely different school. This system of alternating sides not only makes sure there are an equal number of teams on both sides of the debate, it also makes you a better debater and a better critical thinker. Now, I want to wrap things up today with a celebration of why I think you'll love policy debate. On the surface, debate can be a little confusing and complex. If you've ever had someone try to explain a board game to you, then you know that sometimes you just have to get the basics down and get started to play the game before you can truly understand and appreciate it. And the same is true with debate. I always tell my own students that your first few debate rounds will be filled with confusion and maybe even a little frustration. But they will also be fun. Within a few rounds, you'll start to get the hang of it, and you may even win a few rounds. By the end of your first tournament, the fog of confusion will start to lift, and you'll start to see why so many kids love debate. And if you stick with it, you'll see why debate changes people's lives. You'll discover that you no longer have trouble organizing your thoughts when talking to friends or parents or teachers. Your words and sentences will be smooth and logical. No more being frustrated because all the good ideas in your head get jumbled and confused when they come out of your mouth. Stay with debate for a few years, and you'll have the confidence and ability to listen and speak like a champion. So that's our introduction to debate. I hope that you've learned enough to pique your interest.